Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful day. For today's video, I am going to be testing out the new e.l.f. beauty wands, which I'm so excited about. We're going to do swatches, I'm going to do a little review, and I'm also going to be doing a side-by-side comparison between these versus Charlotte Tilbury, and I'll do a little wear test and we'll see if we have a dupe on our hands. So make sure you guys grab a snack, get cozy, and let's get into it and try out these beauty wands. I just did my skin prep because it is the same prep that I've been using for the past couple weeks and still loving it. So I always start off with Milani Make It Last setting spray or any long-lasting setting spray, and then the e.l.f. Wow Glow Untouchable SPF with the Power Grip Niacinamide primer. This little concoction here is still my favorite. It's so good and works with a ton of my favorite foundations. So for foundation today, I'm going to use the Triclone Skin Tech from Haus Labs. This is probably my favorite high-end foundation of all time. It's just too good. And I am going to mix in, because I have the color which is a little bit too tan for me right now. This one is in 250 light medium neutral. I'm going to take a little bit of this mixing pigment from LA Girl just to lighten the foundation up a tad, but it is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's a really good splurge item. And I'm using, as always, my Anisa Beauty Pinnacle foundation brush to blend this in. I did a little less than half of the pump from LA Girl, and it's the perfect touch because you can see it's like matches my neck and everything really nicely. This also has really good coverage and it lasts all day. That's one of my favorite things about this foundation. Now for concealer, I've been also loving the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer in this shade Vanilla Swirl. This is a really nice luminous matte formula with amazing coverage, and it also wears beautifully on my under eyes. So if you want good coverage but you don't want a completely matte flat finish, you're gonna love this. It's really, really nice. I've been enjoying it even on my really simple makeup days, just because it has such nice coverage. You could use it to spot conceal as well. And this is the Anisa Beauty Angled Concealer Brush. Now we can get into the beauty wands. So my first impression, these actually remind me a lot of the Milani liquid contours. Even down to the packaging, it's super similar. It has a really tiny little brush, and this one specifically in the color light medium reminds me of the shade 01 Honey from Milani. Even the undertones look almost identical. But let's go in and squeeze out the product, which is always so satisfying. And the little sponge is actually really tiny, which I don't mind. I'm just gonna dot a couple of these right around my forehead, and then let's just do that much. And I'm using my e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush. Okay, it's blending in like a dream. I could probably add a little bit more. I started out pretty light, but it gave me a very natural little chisel. Now this color specifically is not going to be ideal for contouring. It's going to more so be for bronzing in my opinion, because you can see it has a bit of that warmish undertone, but I think it's pretty. It's not too orange and it doesn't look muddy. And it does blend out really easily. Super blendable. Honestly, the formula is almost identical to the Milani liquid contour. This is a really great option as well, and it's $10, so it's like very similar price point. Super seamless, very smooth on the skin. You can see, like I said, not muddy. The formula does look to be buildable. I started off with a little bit just because I wasn't sure how pigmented the product was going to be, but it has a nice amount of pigment. So the e.l.f. side is looking really good. I think that looks amazing, and I love that color too. Now let's do Charlotte Tilbury on the other side. I actually do really like this. It only comes in 2 shades though, so it's very limited, but it is a nice product. I do think it blends easily, and I like this color on my skin tone personally in fair medium. So let's see how this compares now. I usually do a couple dots and I'll build it up also if needed. And on this side, I'm using the Heavenly Luxe complexion brush from IT Cosmetics. So with this product, I feel like it definitely shears out a lot more than the e.l.f. one. The e.l.f. one is actually a little bit more pigmented, especially when you blend it out. I personally really like this product, but I do think there are nice alternatives to it, so I don't think it is an absolute must-have unless you want to splurge. You know, it's nice, it works, and it does give some really nice color payoff. But for me, ever since I discovered that Milani liquid contour, I have been loving and using this non-stop. It's amazing, and it gives me this very similar effect. But you can see when you build it up, you do get some more color, which is nice. But compared to the one from e.l.f., I do, like I said, feel like the formula is a little bit more sheer when you blend. Let's try the blushes now. That is what I'm super excited about. So on the e.l.f. side, I'm gonna use the Rose You Slay blush. This one's like a peachy kind of corally pink. Now apparently with this, from what I've seen, you're supposed to work with it really quickly because it does dry really fast. And I saw somebody say that these were patchy. So what I'm gonna do is put the product on the back of my hand first, and then we'll go from there. And I'll see if it dries on the back of my hand and how quickly it dries. But I'm gonna go from here, and then I'm gonna take the same brush. I'm just gonna spot clean it a little bit. I have a ton of these little makeup cloths, and then I'm gonna take my brush from e.l.f. and then go in and apply that on the apples of my cheeks, blending it up towards my bronzer. That's really pretty. It's super pigmented, and it definitely does have that glowiness to it. It looks a little bit kind of patchy, like in this area when I'm looking at my viewfinder, but I don't know, sometimes the lights, they give off shadows and it can look a little bit off, but that blended in really nicely though. I don't really have any issues with it not blending. I think that was really effortless, really pretty. You can see you're gonna get that color with that gorgeous glow. Okay, yeah, this is actually drying pretty instantly, so it does dry pretty fast. Now let's go in with my Charlotte Tilbury in Pinkgasm. This product I actually fell in love with. At first I wasn't too crazy about I have the Peachgasm one and I didn't really love it too much, but I think Pinkgasm is actually really pretty. So the tone is a little bit different. Oh, I should have applied this on the back of my hand too. I typically with this product, I will apply it directly on my skin, but let me just blend this out to show you. The colors are a little bit different. I think the one from Charlotte Tilbury is a bit more pink, whereas the one from e.l.f. has a bit of that corally kind of undertone, but when you blend them out, they look super similar. I'm gonna swatch the e.l.f. one here first to show you comparison to Pinkgasm. So yeah, the undertones, you can see the one from e.l.f. up top has a bit more of that orangey coral tint, and then Pinkgasm is a bit more pink. Now I have Peachgasm too. Let me compare Peachgasm to this one from e.l.f. This is Peachgasm. Okay, so Peachgasm is up top and it's a little bit lighter. So yeah, I definitely feel like these have a super similar finish. I do agree with what people are saying that they do dry fast though, because even on the back of my hand, just leaving it for a few seconds, it dries pretty instantly. So work quickly with it. But yeah, this is Charlotte Tilbury, and then this is e.l.f. I'm gonna do the highlighters after powder because I want to set everything down, and then I'll add a little extra glow towards the end. I think e.l.f. also looks really good. The blush is actually a little bit more vibrant on this side versus the one from Charlotte Tilbury, which is very interesting. To set everything, I'm actually gonna use one of my favorites, e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. This one is in light pink. So I'm gonna start with my under eyes, and then I take my puff and I kind of use it to set my cheek area a little bit as well. I will just smooth this over. I love how the blush still kind of pops even after you set it with that powder. It's gonna be warm today, so I'm using Charlotte Tilbury press powder in Fair 1, and I'm just gonna dust a little bit of this around the cheeks and my T-zone, pretty much wherever I get the most oily. I really like the way the e.l.f. side looks. I think they both look really nice, but I like how the blush is a bit more vibrant on the e.l.f. side versus Charlotte Tilbury. That looks really pretty. Now we're gonna go in with highlight, and this always makes me a little bit nervous to use liquid over powder, but let's try it out. I have the Halo Glow Beauty Wand in the shade Champagne from e.l.f. on this side. I'm always nervous too, like, do I blend these out with my finger? Do I use a sponge? But sometimes the sponge can kind of lift your product underneath, so I'm gonna just go in with my finger and we're just gonna hope for the best. Oh wow, this is light. You know what? I'm gonna use my brush because it's just so much easier. I'm gonna kind of go over where I applied the blush as well to kind of make this as like a topper. Every time I say topper now, I think of Outer Banks. Do you guys watch that show? He's definitely my least favorite character, by the way, but anyways. That actually blended out a lot better than I thought. I was nervous about that, not gonna lie. Oh, that looks pretty. Definitely just enhances your cheeks, gives a bit of a glow. Did not lift any of my foundation underneath, which is impressive because, I mean, my face was it's pretty set. And when I went in with that, it didn't look like it was gonna blend as easily as it did, but that actually looks really pretty. And I do have the Beauty Light wand here in Spotlight from Charlotte Tilbury. I haven't used this product in a little bit, actually. Okay, so I did about that much, and I'm gonna use the same brush on the high-end side and do the same thing. This is pretty though too from Charlotte Tilbury. This is nice, and again, I love the fact that you can blend this over powders, because if you do this underneath, you're gonna kind of lose that glow by setting it with the powder. I think the one from Charlotte, the highlighter at least, maybe it's because of the applicator, maybe I used a little bit more than the one from e.l.f, but it's much more kind of in your face and a little bit more intense, whereas the glow from e.l.f is definitely there and it's glowy, but it's kind of like not as bright. This one is more of like a white in your face kind of highlighter. This one here is glowy, but I feel like it's a little bit more of like a toned down version to the high-end side. What do you guys think? I think they both look nice though. I love how I was able to blend both of those pretty seamlessly into the skin over the powder, which is always really impressive. I think I'm just gonna leave this as is. I'm gonna set my makeup, but let me do a quick lip combo here on camera with you guys. Rare Beauty lip liner in the shade Wise, favorite of all time. I'm gonna try a new lip oil from Rare Beauty. This one is in Honesty. Oh, I love that color. OMG. I love the way that pairs too with the lip liner. I'm like really shocked right now at how good both sides look, but like the e.l.f side is just so smooth. That looks so good. You could probably even add more blush if you wanted to make it a little bit more vibrant and you want to make it pop, but my cheeks are already so glowy. I don't want to overdo it because the blush is also really glowy. So I'm gonna just leave it as is and we'll see how it looks, how it wears. Now I'm just gonna set my makeup with Milani Make It Last, and that is it. Alrighty, so this is the completed makeup look, and I have to say, first of all, I used way too much of the Charlotte Tilbury glow wand on this side. It's a bit much. It's intense. It's pretty though, and I am happy I didn't lift any of my foundation though, so I cannot even complain about that. This is Charlotte Tilbury, and then this is e.l.f. e.l.f. I think looks better. It looks smoother. I love how the blush is peeking through a little bit more. I think it's definitely a little bit more vibrant than Pinkasm. The contour I think is definitely a great option. The blush I'm also really loving. I love the way I applied it. I like the way it went on. And I think the highlighter is also really pretty. I mean, the way that it blended over top of the powder was really impressive. So I'm gonna wear this for the next couple of hours. It's around 1 o'clock-ish. So a couple hours, I'll see how it looks. If it fades, if it lasts, we'll see. But right now, I'm gearing more towards the e.l.f. side for sure. Came outside to show you guys in natural light. We have e.l.f. on this side, Charlotte Tilbury on this side. I think they both look nice. Like the Charlotte Tilbury one doesn't look terrible, but the e.l.f. one looks amazing. So seamless, so smooth. And you can also see that the e.l.f. blush is definitely more vibrant than Charlotte Tilbury. It's more subtle on this side. The glow I think is a bit more intense on the Charlotte Tilbury side versus e.l.f., but I love the e.l.f. side. I think it looks so seamless. I mean, are we really shocked though? Because e.l.f. is just always killing it and they have the best dupes. So I am here to confirm the obvious. These e.l.f. beauty wands are amazing to say the least. Super blendable. I love the pigmentation and it's just a really nice formula. I think this side looks super smooth and seamless, but also the Charlotte Tilbury side does look nice as well. There isn't any fading. It's very glowy and both sides look amazing, honestly. I do prefer the e.l.f. side. I just think it looks a little bit more seamless, but it's not to say that the Charlotte Tilbury products are bad. That's not the case at all. But these e.l.f. beauty wands are definitely really great spot on dupes, and for the price point they're totally worth trying. So these are available now at Ulta, also of course online. Let me know if you guys have tried them. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Please do not forget to subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.